You're watching Tag TV. Tag TV tags you news, views, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that talks about breeding of terrorism and its impact on South Asian nations. Let's begin with the headlines first. Al-Qaeda chief releases new video, asks jihadists to continue fighting in Kashmir. Pakistan seeks to mobilize terrorists through Kartarpur corridor, says expert. Pakistan exposed in UK court as Dawood's presence ascertained in Karachi. And two-day intra-Afghan dialogue concludes no restraint in Taliban terrorism. Al-Qaeda chief Ayman al-Zawahiri called on terror groups to inflict unrelenting blows on the Indian army and the government, releasing in what appears to be a latest video message of Zawahiri on Kashmir. The video also reveals Pakistan's notorious activities in Kashmir that competes with Al-Qaeda, which has become a major irritant to Zawahiri and his squad. We have a special report. The individual with blood-craving eyes in this video is Ayman al-Zawahiri, the Al-Qaeda chief, whose sole motive is to ooze blood out of Indian soldiers and Kashmiri citizens. In a latest decree of death, Zawahiri has called on its insurgents to single-mindedly focus on inflicting unrelenting blows on the Indian army and government so as to bleed the Indian economy and make India suffer.
The warning given by al-Zawahiri speaks of the frustration and the desperation in which the jihadi terror organizations are now because of an all-out offensive launched by Modi government against terrorism and the success it has achieved. Also, the successful offensive launched by the Indian Army and the security forces in Kashmir, which has broken the backbone of terrorism, and the terrorism is on the decline, has upset these global jihadi terrorist organizations, and they are now trying to hit Indian economy. If you see the message which has been sent by al-Zawahiri, it very clearly states that you must do all these so that the Indian economy is affected. The fact of the matter is that these global jihadi organizations do not want India to become a developed nation. They do not want India to become a great power. They do not want India to become an economic power. And hence, they are trying to promote terrorism in this country.
Apart from signaling towards a probable war against the Indian army by Al-Qaeda, the video also brutally exposes Pakistan's nefarious activities in Kashmir. While criticizing Pakistan for its double game, the Al-Qaeda leader revealed that Pakistani army and its government are engaged in using terrorists in Kashmir for its specific political objectives.
Pakistan is using terrorism in Kashmir basically to fulfill the unfinished agenda of partition, and that is to annex Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan wants to annex Jammu and Kashmir by hook or by crook, and mainly because Pakistan is not interested in the Kashmiris or the land of Kashmir, it's interested in the waters which flow through Kashmir. So for that, it somehow wants to have control over Jammu and Kashmir, and that is what al-Zawahiri is referring to. Pakistan is only trying to meet its political objectives, whereas these global jihadi terrorist organizations want Nizam-e-Mustafa. They want the Sharia law to be operative in Kashmir. They want to turn Kashmir into an Islamic state.
Ever since 2014, al-Zawahiri has focused on building up Al-Qaeda's presence amid South Asia's jihadist landscape, breaking with its traditional focus on the Arab world. In an attempt to radicalize the youth of Kashmir, Zawahiri this time refer to the Kashmir conflict as part of the worldwide Muslim community's jihad against a vast array of forces. But according to the experts, his attempts will ultimately fall in vain since the youth of Kashmir have rejected the entire idea of jihad because of its brutal implications.
The fact is that Jawahari is not very clear as to what he wants to say. He actually is trying to send a message to the terrorists so that their sinking morale rises. But to my mind, he is now trying to play in dirty waters in Kashmir. As far as Kashmir is concerned, the Kashmiri youth is no more interested in jihad. Kashmiri youth has divorced terrorism. It has divorced jihad. Kashmiri youth is now looking forward to a modern India. It is looking forward to a bright future. They are looking forward to join the mainstream in India. They have sacrificed the gun for the tricolor.
The Indian intelligence team, after verifying the credibility of the video, termed it as genuine while asserting that the video has been released to ease the discomfort among terrorists who are continuously losing their battle against the Indian security forces in Kashmir. The terror groups are in complete disarray because almost 125 terrorists have been eliminated in the first 6 months of this year and they have become leaderless. Pakistan stands isolated and under pressure to increase its level of deniability. This and various other factors clearly indicate towards Pakistan's hand behind this obnoxious message from the Al-Qaeda chief. Pakistan has a long history of using peace corridors for terror activities. A new addition to the list is Kartarpur corridor, which is highly vulnerable of terror infiltration from Pakistan. Many experts aware of the issue have suggested that Islamabad and its powerful army will most likely use Kartarpur corridor to perpetuate another round of terrorism in India, especially in the border state of Punjab. Here's a report.
Politicians and experts believe that Pakistan will use the proposed Kartarpur corridor to revive its multi-pronged nefarious designs of subverting peace and harmony in India. Reacting to the Indian intelligence reports that exposed Pakistan of using Jathas to perpetuate a pro-Khalistan sentiment in India, experts said that Pakistan, in spite of its repeated failures in its anti-India agenda, had relentlessly targeted the Sikhs across the globe to launch its diabolic missions, and now it would exploit this holy place too. Ajay Sahni, the executive director of the Institute for Conflict Management in New Delhi, asserted that Pakistan has no sympathy for religious sentiments of Sikhs and it will aim to use Kartarpur corridor to accomplish its agenda.
Kartarpur has not been taken up by Pakistan as an effort to actually do something good for the Sikhs. It has been taken up by Pakistan as an instrument for extremist and terrorist mobilization. They hope that large numbers of people will cross over from Pakistan and they will be able to at least recruit or mobilize a few of them for their designs.
He further accused ISI, Inter-Services Intelligence, of constantly hatching plots against New Delhi and said Sikh welfare was never in the priority list of Islamabad and it was just seeking another way of subverting Indian peace.
Kartarpur corridor from the Pakistani side is a very opportunistic effort. It is not concerned with Sikh welfare or Sikh interests. If you see the condition of Sikhs in Pakistan, it is terrible. I mean, every now and then you have 1 or 2 Sikhs being killed off by Islamist extremists over there. No action is taken, nothing is done to give them justice.
Speaking on similar lines, an Indian National Congress spokesperson also said that Pakistan was using Sikh sentiments to materialize its Break India policy and it wants to carry out anti-India activities that will not be tolerated by the country. Minorities in Pakistan are being ill-treated for decades and the establishment has done nothing to control it. The Sikh plights were addressed before.
ये जो हमारा करतारपुर कॉरिडोर है, इसको लेकर के पाकिस्तान नाजायज फायदा उठाना चाहता है। पाकिस्तान हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ गतिविधियां करना चाहता है जो बर्दाश्त नहीं होंगी और मैं समझता हूं कि पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह पहले भी वार्निंग दे चुके हैं कि पाकिस्तान की गतिविधियां यहां नहीं होने देंगे।
Pakistan's conspiracy was exposed earlier when Sukhwinder Singh Sidhu, a Pakistani spy, was nabbed and interrogated by Indian agencies. Pakistan's spy agency, the ISI, has hatched a conspiracy to revive militancy in Punjab by backing pro-Khalistan activists in Canada and United Kingdom. However, the people in Punjab have totally rejected their malicious propaganda and have opposed any such move that divides people along lines of faith.
As Pakistan is making all-out efforts to prevent the extradition of Jabir Motiwala, a high-ranking member of the D Company from the United Kingdom, it has been revealed that fugitive underworld don and dreaded terrorist Dawood Ibrahim is hiding in Pakistan. The revelation has come after a photograph of Dawood Ibrahim with his close aide Motiwala is going viral, which clearly indicates that the underworld don is leading a very healthy and comfortable life in Pakistan. Here's a special report.
Godfather of D Company, Dawood Ibrahim, continues to hide in Pakistan, reveals a recent report coming directly from a United Kingdom court. The whereabouts of Dawood was revealed to the Westminster Magistrates Court in London during an ongoing extradition trial of one of Dawood's close aides, Jabir Motiwala, who is known to be a high-ranking member of D Company. The intelligence agencies have also seized some pictures of Dawood and Motiwala, where the two are being seen in conversation. The fact that Motiwala is a resident of Karachi clearly reveals Dawood's location and Pakistan's blatant lies about it.
We have been giving them dossier number of times. We have given them the address also. Not only we, the Americans and the other Europeans, they also come up with their intelligence input, and they have also said that Dawood is living in Pakistan, Karachi. The different addresses was informed by the Americans to the Pakistanis, But yet, what to do, when they are on a denial mood, everything they denied. We have seen in the past, that involvement of Lashkar-e-Taiba in Bombay massacres, they denied it, that these are non-state actors, we have nothing to do. Qassab, when we arrested Qassab, we gave the entire detail of Qassab, his hometown, his village, his house number, everything they denied. Later the Pakistani media comes out and publish the report stating that he is a Pakistani citizen. So Pakistan is on a denial path, but now the international community knows it very well that he lives in Pakistan, and from there he is operating globally.
The US is trying to extradite Motiwala over charges of money laundering, for which the trials are going on in London's Westminster Magistrates Court. Dawood, who heads a vast and multifaceted illegal business, has emerged as India's most wanted terrorist after the 1993 Mumbai bombings and maintains close links with terror outfit Al-Qaeda. The US has declared Dawood Ibrahim as a global terrorist and pursued the matter before the United Nations in an attempt to breeze his assets across the world and crack down on his operations. Syed Akbaruddin, India's permanent representative to the UN, expressed deep concerns about such individuals and entities that have become a threat to humanity but still enjoy safe havens in pro-terror region of South Asia.
In our own region, we have seen the mutation of Dawood Ibrahim's criminal syndicate into a terrorist network known as the D Company. The D Company's illegitimate economic activities may be little known outside our region, but for us, such activities as gold smuggling, counterfeit currency, as well as arms and drug trafficking from a safe haven that declines to acknowledge even his existence are a real and present danger. The success of collective action to denude ISIL is a pointer that the Council's focused attention can and does yield results. A similar degree of interest in addressing the threats posed by proscribed individuals, such as Dawood Ibrahim and his D Company, as well as proscribed entities, including the so-called Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, listed as affiliates in of Al-Qaeda under the 1267 sanctions regime will serve all of us well.
Also, while maintaining its consistent stand on Dawood Ibrahim, Indian Foreign Ministry warned Islamabad to hand over underworld don Dawood Ibrahim, saying his location was not a secret.
Time and again we have emphasized, we have highlighted that Dawood's presence in Pakistan and Pakistan's denial, I think it is something which basically exposes Pakistan. It basically shows that Pakistan is not very serious in taking action against the terrorist groups operating from the soil.
Since Motiwala deals with Pakistani terrorist organizations and is a key link between the D Company and Pakistan's intelligence agency ISI, therefore Indian intelligence agencies are preparing to contact the FBI over the activities of D Company, which will further boost their case against Dawood Ibrahim, whose extradition from Pakistan to India is of utmost importance to Indian government.
Taliban, despite being persuaded time and again by the US to broker peace with the Afghan government, has not yet refrained itself from being involved in a series of attacks on security forces and civilians in the war-torn Afghanistan. Recently, a two-day intra-Afghan talks to support peace effort in Afghanistan concluded in Doha with no sustainable resolution to end 18-year-long war, and Taliban wages another suicide bomb attack in the eastern province of Nangarhar, killing 6 and injuring several others, a report.
The two-day intra-Afghan talks to support peace efforts in Afghanistan concluded in Doha with heinous Taliban insurgent attacks back home casting a pall over efforts to end Afghanistan's years of war. A few days after peace talks in Doha, Taliban insurgents waged another suicide attack in Nangarhar province of Afghanistan, killing 6 and injuring 40 others. The Taliban and US officials are trying to strike a deal on a Taliban demand for the withdrawal of US and other foreign forces and a US demand that the Taliban not let Afghanistan be used as a base for terrorism. Qatar's lead mediator said the negotiations between the US and Taliban were very important and that the gap was narrowing. He hoped both sides would reach an agreement this month.
سيتم استئناف المفاوضات غدا إن شاء الله بين أمريكا وطالبان، وهذه مسألة أيضا في غاية الأهمية. لابد يتم التوافق على ما تبقى من نقاط خلافية، ونحن نعتقد بأن الفجوة الآن أصبحت ضيقة وصغيرة بين أمريكا وبين طالبان.
Nadir Naeem, the deputy chairman of Afghanistan's High Peace Council, was also seemed hopeful on an agreement with the warring Taliban in near future.
Well, we believe so more than ever before. There is real promise, especially now that the Taliban and the Americans are approaching a deal. We believe we're very near. A lot of the differences have been resolved. So it's just a matter of time.
The US-Taliban talks, the 7th since last year, are set to continue as US officials look to clinch a deal by September ahead of an expected Afghan presidential election. The 60-member delegation of Afghan representatives, including officials who also attended the meet, called it an informal negotiation and made a point that they were not there in government capacity.
This is not official negotiation. These were informal talks. It has, on moral obligation of this, has the weight of moral obligation, and it was a collective demand of the participants of this 2 days conference, and they asked from all sides that also for reduction in the civilian casualties and demand for withdrawal of all foreign forces from Afghanistan, because they confirmed the statement of the Moscow conference.
Although peace negotiations with Taliban have gained momentum, Taliban insurgents have been intensifying attacks on Afghan security forces and US troops. Along with security forces, The innocent civilians too have largely bore the brunt of their deadly attacks since the start of the conflict. According to the United Nations, 3,804 civilians, including more than 900 children, were killed and 7,000 wounded in 2018, the deadliest year in the 18-year-long war.
Moving on, after sustaining a shock and grief of April 21st Easter Sunday attacks, Sri Lankan authorities, in their efforts to crack down the modus operandi involved in terrorism, have started monitoring foreign funds flowing to the mosque and madrasas in the island nation. Several politicians and Buddhist monks believe that the spread of ultra-conservative Wahhabism at an alarming rate could be one among the leads that culminated in deadly Easter Sunday bombings, a report.
In a move to curtail influence of Islamic fundamentalism in the country, the Sri Lankan government is taking steps towards monitoring the funds received by the mosques and madrasas operating in the island nation. Several politicians and Buddhist monks believe that the spread of ultra-conservative Islamism in the country is one among the reasons that culminated in deadly Easter bomb attacks. On April 21st, 9 terrorists blew themselves up in churches and luxury hotels, killing more than 250 people, plunging the country into a deep shock. Sri Lankan police have arrested a Wahhabi scholar in connection with the attack, and they are also poised to seize a Saudi-funded school soon. The Sri Lankan government also says it will monitor previously unchecked money flows from donors to the mosques on the Indian Ocean island.
This is the teaching through the religious teachers there and the hardliners who are influencing the local population in their version of the Islam, which is a little different from the other countries where there's secularism there. So they are promoting their agenda by opening the masjids and sending the preachers. Sri Lanka has suffered the worst ethnic clashes in the last few years, and this type of things Sri Lanka is getting into some other troubles. Sri Lanka is basically a Buddhist country where 70% population is Buddhist and only 10% are Muslim. So Muslim population is being attracted by these type of hardliners, and this resulted in the Easter bombing in which more than 250 people also got killed.
The outcry in Sri Lanka is the latest sign that Wahhabism, which critics deem a root cause of the jihadist threat for the South Asian countries, has spread at an alarming rate among the Muslim communities. Jihadist organizations, including Pakistan-backed Islamic State, which claimed responsibility for the Easter bombings, follow the extreme interpretation of Islamic fundamentalism. The alarming spread of Wahhabism among the religious communities of Sri Lanka could be established through these figures. There are 749 madrasas in Sri Lanka and 1 Islamic university. There are at least 10 major Muslim mosques in the island nation. At present, 90% of Sri Lanka's mosques are in the clutches of Wahhabi preachers, and 33 Sri Lankan Muslims are reported to have joined Islamic State.
They are spreading their version of Islamization, which is against certain other communities, and this disturbs the peace of the local country and also the harmony of the people. So Sri Lanka has to guard against this. They have succeeded to some extent because they have been able to infiltrate and create their hardliners there, open their masjids there, Wahhabi masjids which they call it. So they have been successful. That's why this resentment came in the form of an Easter attack in which a large number of people got killed. So they are able to influence the public, but the government has to take a firm stand and guard against all such infiltration and the provocative speeches by the hardliners.
The former president Mahinda Rajapaksa had earlier pointed out in an article that foreign elements are hell-bent on tearing Sri Lanka apart. The controversial speakers trained and dispatched by Saudi Arabia reportedly include Ismail Menk, Zakir Naik and Tariq Zamil, have a large influence on the Muslim communities residing in Sri Lanka. Although Ismail Menk has been banned in the United Kingdom and Singapore and Zakir Naik features in India's most wanted list, they still managed to garner a large number of followers in Sri Lanka and South Asian countries. Thus, the concerns of Buddhist monks and politicians in connection with Wahhabism on the island nation may create distrust among Muslim communities, but the stark connection they have established between Wahhabism and terrorism cannot be sidelined further.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Surbhi Sharma signing off on the behalf of entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.